All right, so next we're going to talk about tips for sellers. If you're a homeowner and you're trying to sell your home for sale by owner and you're not trying to pay a commission, you came to the right place, and we're going to talk about that right now. All right, let's talk about tips for sellers, right? If you're selling your home in this market, as we've seen, some homes are flying off the market, others are not flying off the market. So number one, what you want to do is get an inspection. The reason why I always advise my sellers to get an inspection is you want to know what's wrong with your house. You don't want any liability down the line, because in the state of Maryland, the buyer has about 3 years to kind of file a complaint after they purchase a home, right? So you want to make sure the home is up and up. Complaint mostly against the realtors, but if the buyer finds out or the realtor finds out you had some knowledge of damages and you didn't disclose them, then that's going to be on you and not that realtor. So you may want to get an inspection so you know what you're walking into. You're not technically obligated. It's the seller's, as the buyer's job to kind of find out what's wrong with the property. You disclose obvious things. You disclose certain things you can disclose. Other things, it's really up to them, and really how you word it in the contract. If you put it as is, then they kind of take on a lot of the liability. So you really want to get an inspection just to be a fair person and to do good business, right? And just to wash yourself off any liability or anything like that. You want to kind of get an inspection. Secondly, I would say do some repairs. You know, touch up your house. As far as curb appeal, something I want to talk about is the saying goes, don't judge a book by its cover. Unfortunately, in the real estate business, people do judge a book by its cover. Curb appeal is the phrase, right? And last week, as I said, if your house has great curb appeal, it's going to fly off the market. If your house doesn't have good curb appeal, it's really not going to fly off the market, right? You may even get lowball offers in this type of market. Last week, we saw an article talking about how fixer-uppers are not flying. One, we got to think about interest rates being high and inflation, cost of goods in hardware stores to repair your house or build the house or upgrade the house is just more pricey now. So the profit margin has eroded, right? For those who are fix and flippers, investors, and so on and so forth. So people are, even the buyers, I'm showing properties, most people are not trying to buy a project anymore. They just want a house that they can move in and live comfortably for the next few years before getting repairs. So do the repairs. One, that's going to get your market the value you're asking for. Some homes are still like we're at 32% of homes nationwide are still selling over the asking price. Yours can be one of those if you get the necessary repairs. What are we talking about here? Landscape, you know, that's just one. Get your grass looking good, or the outdoors, whatever you got going on outside. Painting. Painting is very cheap, and it can really increase the value, just the presentation, the appeal of the house. Inside of the house, you want to change the tiles, you know, based on the year your house was built. You know, you don't want all the wet wallpapers on your wall. You know, get some modern tiles. Some vanities are really not that expensive. If you go to a local box store, like a hardware store, get some vanities. Just some tips. You want to change all the locks on your door. If you got those old like brass kind of locks, you know, black is kind of trendy a little bit. Chrome, it just depends, right? But the black doorknobs is kind of trendy right now, but that may not be the case later on or in your market. Just get something a little bit more modern. But here's the thing, right? When you're selling your home, stay off the bright colors, you know, when you're painting, right? Like the green, the purples, the yellows, the pinks. you want your house to look kind of blend like an office building almost, or an apartment complex. So white, grays, beige, you know, something just subtle. You know, you don't want these colors that may throw people off. Some kind of blue kind of works a little bit, but not like a bright royal blue or something, like a navy blue. You know, just get something blend, something that can appeal to a lot of people. You don't want to get these colors that are just out there, like a red, you know. So be mindful of colors. You know, change the faucets, the light switches, just minor things. If you got old ceiling fans, $100 and some change can get you some decent ceiling fans. So people do judge a book by its cover, and there's a saying, don't be penny wise, pound foolish. You're trying to save a penny. That's a British saying, right? You're trying to save a penny, you lose a pound. So penny wise, dollar foolish. You can look at it that way. You're trying to save pennies, but then you lose dollars. One, on time of the house being on the market, lowball offers, you lose thousands. You make a ton of seller concessions just because you were trying to save a few pennies. So put some money away to get the house looking up and up. You know, in the urban lingo, they say scared money don't make money. If you're scared to kind of like spend money, you're not going to make money, right? Pay to play almost. So please use the use your money, kind of get your house up and up, do the repairs, stage the property. We talked about that already in a previous episode, but just to skim through it, you want to depersonalize the property, make it less about you and just like a showroom, like you know, like you go to a furniture showroom, you don't see people's, unless you go to like the salesperson's desk, you're not going to see things like personal pictures and a whole lot of clutter. You want to declutter everything, just depersonalize it, make it look like a showroom at a furniture store. That's a good example. If you can take professional pictures, do, but if you cannot, you don't want to. This is the median home price in America, we just read, is $370 something thousand. That's a lot of money you're selling your property for. So do the investment. Scared money don't make money. Don't be penny wise and pound foolish, right? Hire a professional photographer, videographer, so they can make some like really good presentational photo slides for you and video slides for you. These are tips for selling your home for sale by owner. We're not even talking about real estate agents. We're just talking about you selling your home. And we just read the article about the solar panels, right? That's kind of going overboard, but it helps. But we saw that it hasn't caught on all the way yet. I know some states give benefits to homeowners, that tax credits. Other states don't. Some states actually pay for it. There's so many different stipulations on that. So just look at your local county, your local laws, and see how that works. After professional photos and videos, we're going to look at marketing it, right? So if we're talking about selling it for sale by owner without an agent, you want to look at Trulia, Redfin, Zillow. List them on these places. The multiple listing service, the MLS, if my memory serves me correctly, can only realtors can list it there. So if you're doing it for sale by owner, you may not be able to get your property on the MLS, but now there's so many websites that you can still kind of get traffic. You can market it, put the word out, word of mouth, talk to people in your area, talk to people in your social media networks, and just let them know your house is for sale. Put good pictures, put a sign in front of your yard for sale by owner, and you never know what can fall through the pipeline, right? You got Angie, they used to have Craigslist, things like that. So there are a few options you can use. Then the next step in selling your property for sale by owner is going to be CMA, a comparative market analysis. It's very detailed, right? So I don't want you to hold me to this. Quick disclaimer. for us as realtors, that we have so many tools, we can just pop in some numbers and it prints everything out. But I'll try to walk you through the steps on how to do a calculation. This is not only for homeowners, but also like investors. Investors that are looking at properties to buy and they want to make an offer, right? So for sale by owner, make an offer or sell a property. Comparative market analysis. I'll try to give you a quick breakdown on how to go about a CMA, how to calculate it, right? But once again, we have tools and calculators that we just pop in properties and it kind of prints everything out, details it out for us. But I'll try to just walk you through. So let's get to it. You take your property, which is the subject property, right? You get the address. Then you kind of do one of those Google circles, you know, you search the radius, the neighborhood, and you see, you know, you can do this on Zillow, you can do this on different websites, Trulia, Redfin, all these different websites to see what homes sold in that area. You can then drive to those homes, just take a visual, get a visual glimpse, see how it actually looks, because looks can be deceiving, right? So what you see online, these pictures can be edited, they can take it. I remember I bought a house and then the inside was like so bright on the picture. When I actually went in there, man, it was dark. They did some kind of lighting and everything. They can fool you, you know, so you never know. So go there, go try to view the property. You may not be able to go in the house, but you can just kind of look around and see what what the house looks like, the curb appeal, right? So make sure there are no like glaring differences between the houses that sold and yours. You want to narrow down the similarities to as close as you possibly can when you're doing a CMA. So you get your property, which is the target property, then we're going to give you two examples here real quick on how to do a CMA for a seller. You got your property, which is the target property. And in example one, we're going to look at three different properties, right? Property A, we're going to call it B and C. So let's say property A, your property, target property has 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 2,000 square foot lot size and sells for 380, right? 380. I use that number because that's the median home price in the state of Maryland. So you got 380 grand. That's your target property. You got 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. Lot size 2,000 square feet. 380 grand. Example 1 got 3 bedrooms, 2 baths. Somewhere similar, 2,100 square feet. Sells for 375,000. Example 2, subject property 2, same, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, about let's say 1,900 square feet. Sells for 3,800. And then property C, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 2,000 square feet, same as yours, sells for 377,000. So you got 375, 380, and 377. You can say your price is fair. You price your home in a fair way, right? You can even ask a little more or a little less based on urgency to sell or whether you're trying to net the most. So that's very easy on how to calculate that. But sometimes you may be trying to calculate that and you look in your neighborhood and you don't see apples to apples, right? Excuse me. You got apples and oranges. They're both fruits, so both houses, but the subject property A got 3 bedrooms, 1 bath, 2,100 square feet. It goes for 375 grand. Remember, your property, the target property, has 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 2,000 square feet lot size, and you are asking 380 grand for it. You want to see if you're overpricing the house or underpricing the house. So now subject property, as we mentioned, 3 bedroom, 1 bath, 2,100 square feet. You're asking price. That price actually sold for. You want to look at what it was sold for. 375,000. Property B, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, 3,500 square feet lot size. Sells for 395,000. Right? Subject property C. In your neighborhood, these are the only options you have to kind of weigh things. 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, 2,500 square feet, sells for 420 grand. So now, how would you know what your house cost? In example 2, what we'll do, because the similarities are kind of there, glaring the differences also are there. You got 3 bedrooms, 3 and then 4. You got a 2 bath, 3 baths and 1. Then square footage is kind of up and down the place. How do you see if you're asking something a fair market value? I'll just say get a state certified appraiser, and they just give you an appraised value of your home. If you really think your house is worth a lot, but if you want to save cost on getting that appraiser, if the appraiser lowballs your house worth, you may not want to bring that up in selling, but the buyer can go get their appraisal, right? And say, hey, your house appraised for this much. You can say, well, that appraiser is wrong. This is what I think mine is worth because of the market, you know. So here's how you now argue your point. So example 2, you list all the differences in the properties, right? You want to state the differences. You list all the properties and you state the differences. So major differences, there are going to be a ton of differences in houses. Appliances are going to be different. Does this house have a fireplace, ceiling fans, door, knobs, the finish, paint on the cabinets, you know, the style of doors? All these things are going to be different. You want to look at the major differences, like garages. Is it an attached garage, no garage, or a detached garage? You want to look at bedrooms. You want to look at baths. You know, you want to look at the big major differences. Does it have a pool? Sometimes a door may not be a difference, but I remember this homeowner I knew who bought. I remember this homeowner I knew who bought, was it almost a $15,000 mahogany door, like handcrafted, and it was imported from Europe. It was just so expensive. Now, as a seller, you got that kind of door. Does the buyer care about that? They may not care about that. So that thing, it may just have sentimental value to you, but the buyer may not care about that door. But some buyers may care about that door, and that door may be something you want to factor in a CMA. It may not be, it may be. So some things are obvious differences: bedrooms, baths, garages, things like that, you know. But windows, they can be differences in whether you got a really old window or brand new windows, the manufacturer, things of that sort. But I'll just say this: the main thing people look at are like bedrooms, baths, square footage, and garage. How many car garages do you have? Is it attached to the house? Is it detached? So on and so forth. So you want to list those differences. So now let's try to break it down, right? We'll look at property A. The major difference versus your property is 1 bath. Your property has 2 baths. Property A has 1 bath. Your property, you asked 380 grand. Property A sold for 375 grand. So you look at the difference, then you can kind of say 1 bathroom is worth $5,000. As a realtor, we kind of use a bunch of properties and kind of get what the I don't want to say accurate value, but as close to accurate as you can kind of get a precise value of a bathroom cost. When all things being equal, when you calculate the difference in like 7 to 10 properties, let's say all of them have everything the same, and the only difference is the number of bathrooms, you can kind of get a median on the cost of a bathroom. For the sake of this video, we're only going to do 1, 2, 3 properties and kind of give you an idea on how to go about it. So your property, target property versus property A, the difference is bathroom, the price difference is $5,000. We note that $5,000 is the worth of a bathroom, right? Now you take property B, your property, target property versus property B. The main difference there is like the square footage. Your house has 2,000 square feet, your lot size, and the other lot size in property B has 3,500 square feet. That's the only difference. And the price difference is $15,000. You're asking $380,000, property B sold for $395,000. So you can kind of say 15,000 square feet. 1,500 square feet is worth $15,000. So the difference of 1,500 square feet is $15K, right? So now, here's how it gets interesting. You look at property C. So now looking at that, you can kind of easily say 500 square feet is worth $5K. 1,000 square feet is worth $10,000. 1,500 square feet, $15,000. You kind of get it, right? So now you take that into property B. It's just basic equation. If you got X plus Y equals Z, and then those two sides of the equation have to equal to each other, right? Same thing you're doing here. So property C versus your property, the difference, 1 bath, we already know a bathroom is worth $5,000. So instead of X, you put in $5,000, right? So it's A plus B plus C equals D. So we're going to say A is bathroom. Now we fill $5,000 in for bathroom. B is bedrooms, question mark. We don't know what a bedroom is worth. But C, A plus B plus C equals D. So we know what A is. A is a bathroom, that's $5,000. Plus B, question mark. We don't know how much a bedroom is worth. Plus C, which is going to be the square footage. We now know 500 square footage is worth $5,000 based on property B, right? But like I said, you're going to get multiple properties, compare them, and then kind of get a tangible or common sense conclusion as to what the lot size is. But for the purpose of this video, let's stick to this, right? So $500, 500 more square footage in property C, but now you know that 500 square feet is $5,000. So now you got the price for A, you got the price for C. Now what is B gonna be, right? How do you know? You look at the total price of property C. Property C is $420,000. Your house is $380,000. So if we got $10,000 for the bath and the 500 square feet, you got to just know that that remaining $30,000 of difference is going to be the cost of that bedroom, right? So the bedroom is going to be worth $30,000. So one more bedroom is going to be worth $30,000. But like I say, just one example is not good enough. You want 3 examples are not good enough. You want to look at multiple properties and kind of get the value. Here's the trick to it, though. I remember one time I was talking about talking to a client for sale by owner, and we were discussing a CMA. His area is just so weird. Right next to him, there's a golf course, and the prices are super high. And down the street, it's like a rural area, farm type area, older houses. So you really just that square footage may not do you justice. For instance, Washington, D.C. is very small, and a few blocks over can be $1 million houses, and a few blocks down maybe houses that are a lot cheaper, right? So that's the CMA. All things being equal, what's the difference? And then the trick here, though, is you don't subtract or add from your property. You subtract and add from the target property. So property A, $375K, the bathroom difference of one bath. If you gotta add, if property A had more bathrooms, you add $5,000 to property A. But in this case, it's less, you subtract $5,000, right? Property B, 395 grand, you subtract the 15, you end up with 380 grand. Property C was 420 grand, you subtract the 40 grand difference, you get 380 grand. So out of those three properties, we ended up with 370 for property A, 380 for property B, and 380 for property C. This is saying all things being equal, plus or minus what the difference is, how much would this house have sold for, plus or minus this bathroom, plus or minus the extra square footage, plus or minus the extra bedroom, how much would this house have sold for. So now you see that 375 to 380, not too far off in what you're asking for. That's how you want to do it as a for sale by owner. But like I say, look at a ton of properties, you know, for realtors now, not only us, but it's just so automated, everything now, AI, right? You just punch in numbers, you kind of get a value. But it's always good because AI may not necessarily know that this neighborhood is, well, it may know, who knows, based on what they put into the systems now. But the crime rate, how current is that, or the golf course, or just, you know, how people feel about a neighborhood, you know. So these are things you as a realtor, knowing your market, you may have an edge. Forget what the computer pops out of the MLS when you punch in numbers. The style of the homes, is it a ranch, is it a colonial, whatever it may be. You want to take apples to apples, close, but also one street over may make a difference in the price, right? So know your neighborhood. And a couple things I want to note. I will look at more properties, as I said, not just three. This is only for the example. I will account for major differences. We're talking pools, garages, beds, baths, solar panels or something, right? Don't want to account for the little things. Every house is going to have a difference. You don't want to go counting every single faucet, every single, you know, cabinet. No, you just want to kind of get the gist of what the differences are. After the CMA, you know, you put your house on the market. We talked about that for your asking price. The different sites, the Trulias, the Redfin, so on and so forth, the Zillows. You start accepting offers. After accepting offers, so after you accept offers, you accept the offer, somebody lowballs you, you can make a counter offer. If somebody else makes an offer prior to accepting an offer, see if you get multiple offers, and then you then start a bidding war. And then you get more than asking price for whoever bids highest for the property. Then you close the deal. So just an FYI, all attached items to your building are part of the land. So for instance, a bookshelf that is screwed onto the wall, if that buyer walks the building and it's attached to the wall, that bookshelf stays. So if you don't want things to stay, you don't want to attach them to the wall. The picture frame hanging on a nail, no, but the nail that's attached to the wall stays. For instance, if you show the property with these drapes and all of that and blinds that are screwed into the wall, that is part of the house. You can't take them with you. A washer and dryer that is attached to the building, it is part of the house. All right. So when some people want to sell their house and keep some of the appliances, they detach them prior to showing. So when you come, what you see is what you get. I'll give an example. An outdoor grill that's on wheels, like, you know, a charcoal grill that's on wheels, that's yours. You can take that with you. But a built-in grill that's attached to the building, that belongs to the land, and you got to leave it. Just an FYI for those selling their homes for sale by owner. I hope that was helpful.